Lesson 1H, Carbohydrates. Metabolism is all the chemical reactions in an organism that is required to sustain life. This picture illustrates just how many metabolic reactions are found in the human body. These metabolic reactions can be broken down into two groups. One where the reactions break things down, we call these catabolic reactions, or where the chemical reactions build things up, which we call anabolic reactions. A healthy adult requires a balanced diet. This includes helpings of carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. In addition, about 2 liters of water, which is not a nutrient, is also required per day. Here the carbohydrates or sugars can come from the potato, bread, cake, fruit, and pasta. The lipids from the milk, butter, and steak, while protein is in abundance in the milk and steak. When foods are eaten, they will be broken down through a process called digestion into its nutrients monomers, or building blocks. Once the nutrients are absorbed and transported to the appropriate parts of the body via the blood circulatory system, cells will recombine the monomer building blocks into more complex compounds we call polymers, which are required for structure, energy, and transport. The first group that we'll look at is called carbohydrates, also known as polysaccharides, which are important for quick fuel, short-term energy storage, structure, and cell recognition. Carbohydrate monomers called saccharides have a ring shape, an empirical formula or general formula of CnH2nON, where N is a number from 3 to 7. Here are two examples of 5 carbon ring pentose saccharides. They are called pentose sugars because of their 5 carbons, and coincidentally, they also happen to have 5-sided shapes. Here we have hexose saccharides or sugars. They are labeled as hexose because of their 6 carbons. While glucose and galactose have 6 sides to the rings, fructose only has 5. It's still defined as a hexose sugar because of its 6 carbons. An important hexose sugar to humans is glucose, as it is the monomer that is used in cellular respiration in mitochondria, the power plant of the cell. It can be represented many ways as seen here. Glucose, being a monomer, can be combined with other saccharides to form a polysaccharide through an enzymatic reaction called dehydration synthesis. This is sometimes simply called synthesis reaction or polymerization reaction. In the process, 2 monomers are joined together to create a disaccharide with the help of an enzyme and a loss of water. Recall, the general dehydration reaction can be represented by the following animation. Note the dehydration or loss of water. When monomer sugars are joined into chains, they form something called polysaccharides, poly meaning many. Plants will join glucose that they created via photosynthesis into long chains, with some branching of the strands. This is called starch, and this is how plants store sugar for future use. Humans will take the excess glucose that they acquire from their diet, and that is not required for immediate use, and it will be converted into glycogen by the liver to store the glucose for later use. Glycogen is long branched as starch is, but has much more branching to its final structure. Plants will also take glucose and polymerize it into long, straight chains that are tightly packed to build strong walls for structural support, called cellulose. Unlike starch and glycogen, humans are missing the enzyme to digest cellulose, but we still eat it as a part of our healthy diet because it keeps our stool soft and acts like a digestive tract scrubber as it moves through your system. In order for humans to access the glucose from their diet of plants so that they can use it to create energy or to produce glycogen or fat, it must first be digested. This breaking down of starch or glycogen requires the help of an enzyme which will cut the polymer bonds using water. This is called hydrolysis, and the general reaction is illustrated in this video.